Hi, my name is Eden Sage, and for my second student project, I created Food for Thought, a responsive recipe web app. My role in this project was to identify user needs and existing problems and create a recipe web app that meets these needs and problems through research, interviews, and user testing. As a brief introduction, I created Food for Thought for a positive experience in the kitchen and an outlet for users to be creative and organized. Many aspects of the web app are customizable, and it also offers multiple formats for different learning styles. This case study showcases the highlights of my project deliverables from the beginning, middle, and end of the design process. After doing a round of competitor research, I compiled objectives for my MVPs. The first MVP contains user needs identified in the project brief. The second MVP contains features I want to include in the recipe web app that aren't necessary for the app to function. This is my combined user flow diagram I made from the separate user flows for each screen I wanted to include in my web app. Obviously, the user flow did end up changing up a lot throughout the design process, but it does show how my project did change from the very start. I drew 8 screens in 8 different styles and compiled my favorite ones that I wanted to use in the next stage of my design process. Originally, in my user flow diagram, I wanted the sign in and the sign up prompts to be their own screens. But after the paper prototype process, I decided to make them pop-ups as well as the recipe customizations. This helped the screens become less crowded. I found 3 people who wanted to be a part of my user personas. So I interviewed them, asking them questions about my MVPs to confirm their user needs and wants. I also asked them about their current cooking goals and questions about themselves in interviews so that I can complete these user personas. For usability testing, I had 3 testers click through digital interactive paper prototypes and asked them to complete 3 tasks. I then recorded how easily they completed these tasks and what suggestions they had to make them easier. These are the results from those usability tests. I identified the issues my testers were facing and possible solutions, as well as an error rating to create a priority ranking. I took the feedback from my usability testing and implemented them into my designs and created a low, mid, and then later high fidelity wireframes. These are my mid fidelity wireframes. They're more detailed than my low fidelity version, but I ended up making even more formatting changes. I took one of my mid-fidelity screens and created 2 high-fidelity versions to use for my A/B testing. On the first screen, I left most of the text black besides the buttons. In the second screen, I made the title and headings and pretty much any text that was a little bit bigger than a body text into one of my primary colors, which is a dark plum red. After 9 votes, the first screen won by 1 vote. I created my style guide during the beginning stages of my design process, but this is the final version. I made sure to update it each time I made a change since it is very important for the style guide to remain current. These are my final high fidelity prototypes. As you can see, I changed the format and text layout in almost all of my screens to create more white space and a simple user flow. It is important for me to make every button clear and prioritize user needs as well. I created 4 sizes of my 2 screens and made them into high fidelity screens to use for mockups. I used Rotato and Figma to create these mockups and made sure to include all of my screens in a sophisticated manner. I'm very proud of how these turned out, especially since I made the decision to change a lot of my formatting for my final versions. Getting feedback from other students really helped me finalize my screens and fix any issues I may not have spotted. Those were my highlights of my design process and project deliverables. This was my first time creating a responsive web app, and I'm proud of the outcome, but I can't wait to continue learning and breaking down that design process to become a better designer in the future. Thank you.